Hello.
Hello.
Aha. Hi everyone. Welcome back to the AstoundCast episode number 20. Woo!
Wow.
We finally got here after a very, very long time.
That's pretty cool for us.
Yeah. I'm genuinely shocked that we've actually gotten this far. Especially considering all the teething troubles we had towards the start.
True.
Yeah, but anyway, welcome to the 20th episode of the AstoundCast, and I'm going to finally do something I've been meaning to do for weeks. Start this podcast in the right way. How's your week been?
Yeah, the week's been alright, thanks. Quite plain, but nothing too bad. How about yours?
Yeah, honestly, same. Like, things have gone pretty normally, like, nothing out of the ordinary's happened, it's just been a fairly plain sailing week, to be honest.
Fair.
And sadly, no D&D this weekend.
Yeah, but that's because of other stuff, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, people are going back to uni now, so.
True.
Yeah, but yeah, this week's been pretty run of the mill, nothing out of the ordinary, pretty standard stuff, to be honest. Just gone to college and played Avengers a little bit, which I'm very close to finishing now. I fully expect to have it finished by the end of this coming week.
That's good at least.
Well, finished for now.
Finished for now, of course.
Yeah, because it is, of course, a live service game, which means there'll be new stuff coming every few months. So it'll never be finished until the game's shut down, which will be a very sad day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, now on to the regularly scheduled motorsport part of this podcast. Now, unfortunately, after the triple header of Formula One races, there was no race this weekend. But we have found out a detail in regards to next year, and that is they are yet again doing 23 races.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're doing that again, which is quite surprising. Hopefully they'll be able to stick to it this time, and God help the drivers with that, because whew, that is a long season.
It sounds like it if that happens.
Yeah, like, that's what this season was supposed to be, and we're only chopping out one.
Yeah.
And that means Lewis Hamilton will only be one season away from breaking the all-time most races driven in record.
Yeah.
Like, one more season after next year, plus 2 races, he's got that in the bag. Which is quite a shock, to be honest.
Yeah. It is a bit of a shock, but these things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I'm just remembering the days when the season was like 15 races long.
Yeah.
How times were simpler back then.
To be fair, they still had cover girls and they were able to do all sorts of stuff.
Fair point. But yeah, so Formula One has been a pretty slow news week. No new driver change announcements. So as far as we know, Antonio Giovinazzi has still got his seat in Alfa Romeo next year. Is that subject to change? Who knows? We will find out at some point. And thankfully, Kimi Räikkönen, I can't remember if I mentioned this last weekend, but Kimi Räikkönen will be returning for Sochi next weekend, as he has now recovered and has tested negative for COVID-19.
Oh, that's good to hear, at least.
Yeah, so Kimi Räikkönen will be back on the grid next Sunday in Russia for the Sochi Grand Prix, because I can't call it the Russian Grand Prix for reasons. Which is always fun.
Always fun.
Anyway, on to NASCAR. And last night was the race at Bristol Raceway. And was it a humdinger of a race. It was the final race in the round of 16. So we now move on to the round of 12, which means we have said goodbye to these 4 drivers in the playoffs. And that is Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, Eric Almirola, and Michael McDowell. Which is quite sad for them guys, which will leave Kyle Larson, who is leading in the points currently, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch's brother Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and the 4 in the cutoff zone, if they don't get their act together for the round of 8, is Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, and Kevin Harvick. And speaking of Kevin Harvick, if you watched the NASCAR race at Bristol last night, anyone who's watching, you'll know that towards the end of the race, Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick had a little bit of a coming together with Kevin Harvick, I intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know, driving Chase Elliott up the track into the outside wall, which caused Chase Elliott's front right tire, I think, to rip, which meant he had to go into the pits to get a new one. And then at the end of the race, when they were all parking up in the pits, Kevin Harvick pulled right up to Chase Elliott's rear bumper, actually touching it. And then they got out of their cars and got straight in each other's faces.
Yeah, that doesn't seem too productive.
Yeah, it's from what I've heard, it was quite it was a fairly tame confrontation for a NASCAR race. It was literally just them shouting in each other's faces, and that's probably one of the more tame incidents that I've seen. But yeah, those two are not happy with each other. Yeah, well, it's more on Kevin Harvick than towards Chase Elliott. I believe that once the race was over, they both went into Chase Elliott's hauler to talk things out in a calmish manner to try and settle some of the dust that had been kicked up. Yeah.
I mean, these things sort of happen. You can't. They're gonna butt heads. It's just really not that professional, though.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's turned into a bit of a Max Verstappen Lewis Hamilton situation, as in who was actually at fault? Was it Kevin Harvick or Chase Elliott? And as always, the fan base is completely split. They have absolutely no idea. There is not a single general consensus. Some say it's Chase Elliott, some say it's Kevin Harvick, others say that it was a complete racing incident and neither of them were at fault. And I have no idea what the actual verdict from NASCAR is. Yeah. But with the round of 12 lineup being announced, being the driver I just mentioned a moment ago, they've actually got mostly full teams. Like, there are 3 full teams that have completely survived into the round of 12. Just give me a moment. All four Hendrick Motorsports cars have survived. So that's Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, and William Byron in the Chevrolets. The whole of Joe Gibbs Racing has survived. I can't remember who their drivers are. I know Martin Truex Jr. is one of them, and so is Kurt Busch, I think. No, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is as well. Can't remember the other 2. The whole of Penske Racing has survived into the round of 12, and only one Stewart Haas Racing driver has survived, being Kevin Harvick. And from what I've heard, that's kind of the norm for Haas in NASCAR. Like, getting into the playoffs, it's generally Kevin Harvick's job to keep them going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is quite sad for them, considering that they're in 3 motorsports that I know of: IndyCar, NASCAR, and Formula One.
Yeah.
Dare I say it, 3 of the biggest. But yeah. But again, it is still looking to be a Hendrick Motorsports win, which honestly doesn't surprise me. And the next race will be at, give me a moment. It will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Oh no, that's Truck Series. Oh geez, give me a second. The next race will be blank, as the page isn't. There it is. The 26th of September will indeed be Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And if anyone out in America is wanting to watch this race, it is available on NBC Sports on their streaming service, NBCSN, and PRN. Don't know that last channel, but that's where you can watch it if you're wanting to watch the next race. But yeah, so hopefully this next race at Las Vegas isn't as controversial as this one. But considering this race was again at about midnight, I wasn't able to watch. So I'm only hearing about this stuff secondhand. And I'm just taking a look at the rest of the season, and oh boy, wait, this is actually the last race I wouldn't be able to watch if I was actually able to watch it, because there's no one in the UK that shows NASCAR anymore.
Of course.
Yeah. Apparently, Sky Sports used to show it many years ago. So what happened there, I don't know.
Maybe something like an agreement or something.
Probably, yeah. Anyway, I wish all the best luck to all 12 remaining drivers in the round of 12 of the playoffs. And within a few weeks, we will be finding out who will be the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion for the next year or so, when the championship rolls around again next year in February for, of course, the legendary Daytona 500.
Oh.
And unfortunately, that's going to have to do it for this fairly short motorsports section. As I mentioned, there's no major F1 news apart from what I've already mentioned. So, on to episode 6 of Marvel's What If. And I've only just finished watching it, just as the stream started. I was turning my headphones on as it was finishing, so very much finished it by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, good job with that, at least.
Yeah, I don't know how I pulled that off, but yeah. As I mentioned last week, this episode was what if Tony Stark was rescued by Killmonger, and we see the start of Iron Man 1 when Tony is in an army jeep riding through Afghanistan, and then of course he gets attacked. Guns start firing. Bomb comes right near Tony Stark, and he sees it's one of his own, but then Killmonger grabs it and throws it into the sun. Just sends it to oblivion.
You know how everything seems to go. If you want to get rid of something, the easiest place to hide it is in the sun.
Yeah, just yeet the thing. And then Tony becomes quite chummy with Killmonger, and then he takes him back to America with him, actually to his mansion in Malibu, and then he promotes Killmonger to Chief of Security for Stark Industries, which poor old Happy Hogan is not happy about. But before that happens, Killmonger actually reveals something that we found out from Iron Man. The assassination attempt on Tony's life was actually made by his close friend and COO of Stark Industries, Obadiah Stane. So he gets that revealed a whole movie early. He gets arrested and chucked out of Stark Industries. And then, in a strange move, Tony promotes Killmonger to COO as well as Chief of Security, which Pepper is not happy about either.
I mean, don't blame him in that case.
No. And then she enlists a roadie to find out some information about Killmonger because, as she said, everyone looks for their moment in the sun with Tony Stark, and they're always looking for something out of it. And Rhodey says, what do you expect of this guy? Nothing. And that's what's worrying me. That's why you're here. And then he... There's nothing that seems odd to me here. And then, for a few minutes, all is well. Tony brings him to his garage, where in the main universe he would be building his Iron Man suit. But in this universe, he's helping Killmonger build a robot that he designed in MIT called Project Liberator, which, by the way, cool name. And then they tried to put it together, and then Killmonger suggests that they use some vibranium. And Tony says, well, how are we going to get access to that? Look at this ring. It's vibranium. And Tony is absolutely shell-shocked. Because, of course, we then find out that Killmonger is actually one of the long-lost princes of Wakanda.
Wow.
And then, of course, then the Liberator drone, as it is now called, has been built. Tony, well, actually, before that's built, well, it is built, but to put into production, they've got to go to Wakanda to get more vibranium. And the only way Tony knows how to get that stuff is through our old friend Ulysses Claw, reprised by Andy Serkis, by the way, which was amazing to see. And Pepper's like, hell to the no, no way, we ain't dealing with no black market traders. And then Tony suggests, oh, we'll send in Rhodey. He's military liaison for the company. Boom. And then it starts off well. But just as the deal is about to be sealed in Wakanda between Claw and Rhodey, the lights go dark in the building, and then they get attacked. By Prince T'Challa, the Black Panther.
Of course.
Yeah, so not surprising that T'Challa showed up again. Chadwick Boseman really wanted to do as much as he could, didn't he?
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's been in like I think he's been in about 3 episodes now. Yeah, he has. First, his own episode, then the zombies episode, now this one. Huh. Well then. But unfortunately, while T'Challa is about to secure the vibranium, Killmonger shows up and shows his hand, and then proceeds to use a sonic taser on T'Challa, which eventually kills him. Oh. And then Killmonger grabs T'Challa's one of his gloves with the claws on, and then proceeds to also kill Rhodey. He's dead now too. And then we flash forward to both of their funerals, T'Challa's in Wakanda and Rhodey's in America, and then we flash back to the Malibu mansion of Tony. At which point we find out that Jarvis may or may not have recorded the whole thing. At which point, Tony gets a little bit mad at this point, very understandably. Yeah, and then uses the Liberator drone to try to kill Killmonger. Oh. Unfortunately, it backfires horribly. We see the Liberator drone get destroyed, and then the Dora Milaje spear, which was given to Rhodey as a little starter for vibranium, was used to also kill Tony. Yeah. So every time that Tony has appeared in What If so far, he's died every time. which is really sad. Because I don't know who the voice actor for him is. I know it's not Robert Downey Jr., but oh my God, if I didn't know it wasn't Robert Downey Jr., I would fully say it was Robert Downey Jr.
That convincing.
His voice. Yeah, honestly, I closed my eyes and I thought, whoa, that is actually him. Wow. But then I remembered, oh, wait, no, it isn't.
Oh.
His voice was just so dead on, it was unreal. Yeah, Tony's died again. And then we flash forward to, General Ross from The Incredible Hulk shows up and says, yeah, I want these drones to be put into mass production. And Pepper says, whoa, this is going to need like billions of dollars worth of money. And then the general said, that's okay. The US military will take over Stark Industries. And then they do.
What?
Yeah. Stark Industries is now a military organization.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we see a massive army of Liberator drones being led by Killmonger himself. And then as they land in just on the border of Wakanda, we see Ulysses Klaue meet up with Killmonger, as of course he knows him. And then we see them get into a Jeep and drive to the shield wall of Wakanda. And then just as Klaue is going to call Killmonger back to the Jeep, Klaue gets shot by Killmonger. Yeah. Killmonger's building up a bit of a treacherous streak here.
Like, seems like it.
A lot. Yeah. And then we see Killmonger go into Wakanda to give them Klaue's body as a peace offering. As we know, he's been quite a thorn in Wakanda's side for quite some time. And then we see him reveal his true identity as son of Prince Mjobi of Wakanda, King T'Chaka's brother. And then T'Chaka says, welcome back. And then there's an all-out war that starts between America and Wakanda, with the Liberator drones heading into Wakanda because Killmonger has a plan to get rid of them, even though he knows exactly how they work. Bring them into the shield, and then just as they're all in, close it, and that will shut off their connection to the American facility that's controlling them, even though that is not at all how they're working. And he kind of reveals his hand, but none of the royal family of Wakanda notice. And they do deactivate for a moment, thanks to Killmonger pressing a button on them. And then they relax for a minute, and then he presses the button again with no one noticing, and they reactivate. Then it leads to an all-out fight between all the drones and the Wakandan army. The Wakandans win, and then at the end of the battle, Killmonger is given the heart-shaped herb to become the new Black Panther.
Oh.
Yeah, and of course, as we know from Black Panther, the film, when it actually happened to him in that universe too, we head into the afterlife of Wakanda. And then we see T'Challa, who says, was it really worth it? And then he said, I did what had to be done. T'Challa quickly replies with, done for what? And he said, revenge. Like, all of my father was outcast from Wakanda. And then T'Challa just shuns him and says, this will come back to you, be it in this life or in the next. And then it is left. Killmonger is now the Black Panther, and T'Challa also says at the end of his little speech to him, power unearned is a very dangerous thing. And hooey, is that too true? And then we flash back to America, where General Ross says, we are going to send every Jericho missile that Tony Stark made towards Wakanda in the morning. And Pepper says, isn't that a bit too much firepower for a country that most Americans can't even find on a map? And then General Ross coldly replies with, soon they won't have to. Which was very brutal. And then Pepper walks into her office and finds Shuri. Because she has caught on to Killmonger. They both have.
Oh.
And then they just say, well, let's try to expose him together, shall we? Because neither of their sides are willing to listen that he is trouble. And then that's where the episode ends.
Oh, damn.
So all in all, that episode was really, really good. Like, definitely one of the best so far. Like, by quite a lot. But I will say at the start of the episode, because it isn't a major detail, but a watcher mentioned that without Tony's fateful capturing at the hands of the terrorists in Afghanistan, the Age of Iron Man would never come to pass. And it shows a little montage of Iron Man moments, like it showed him building the Mark I armor in the cave, and then him assembling up with the Avengers in Avengers 2012, and then him snapping his fingers and wiping out Thanos' army in Endgame. And the moment that really helped me figure out that this voice actor for Tony sounded just like Robert Downey Jr. was when he said the words, and I am Iron Man. It was just word for word Robert Downey Jr. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the overview for episode 6 of What If. What if Tony Stark was rescued by Killmonger? And now on to the predictions for episode 7, which, as we all know, have not been easy.
Seems like it.
As we still don't actually know what this episode is going to be. We know we have only 3 individual episodes left, and we believe there's going to be a massive crossover at the end, as we have seen that evidenced in a lot of the trailers. So, left we have Party Thor, which is the most likely one in a lot of people's minds. Hopefully they are right this time, as I am also in that camp. That is definitely going to be this episode. It's going to be a Black Widow-based episode, and a Captain Marvel and slash Gamora episode. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah. So my predictions for the Thor episode are literally, what if Thor just never bothered to return to Asgard after his banishment, and what would happen to him if he just stayed on Earth? But, yeah, they're revealing the episode plots quite late on. Like, I think they're revealing them like on a Monday or a Tuesday, so that's not giving us very much time to process it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not time, but it's enough to at least think.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly check to see if the that information has changed. Just making sure. Okay, we have something. Yep, it's the Thor episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. Oh, hold on. I'm seeing a slightly different thing, which could be quite interesting. This may not be the case, but in this universe, Odin likely never adopts Loki, and therefore Thor never has a brother. With all of Asgard singing his praises, he may become more cocky and rash than his main continuity counterpart, which, in all honesty, I can't see how he can become more cocky. After committing an act of war against the Frost Giants, okay, so that's just a little bit of preamble to what we already knew. So, yeah, he will banish Thor to Earth. However, in this reality, Thor might not be stripped of his Asgardian strength. As a result, Thor will become a celebrity on Earth and a total party animal, earning the moniker of Party Thor. He might attempt to throw the biggest party Earth has ever seen. However, his actions will have a domino effect on the rest of the universe and doom this reality. Party Thor must regain his worthiness and save his reality from getting wiped out of existence. Woohoo! Oh, damn, that's just gotten a lot more interesting than it originally sounded. Woo! Like, if all of that is true, that's going to make for a damn good episode.
Sounds it.
Yeah. So that does at least mean that this next episode is almost guaranteed to be Party Thor, which, hey, sounds good to me. But from what I've heard, What If will have, I think, 9 or 10 episodes. I mean, this episode will be episode 7, so we might just have time to fit. Okay, so it might just run slightly over 9 episodes, depending on how they structure it, but it's going to be a good last couple of episodes. But yeah, like, that has a lot more interesting implications than what it was originally just going to be, just what if Thor just didn't come back.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think what could actually happen as a result of him, and I quote, trying to throw the biggest party on Earth. Could it attract the... It could attract the attention of Thanos, maybe.
Ooh, that would be a...
Yeah, because, as we know, at the time of Thor, there was 2 Infinity Stones on Earth.
Yeah.
And, of course, for Thanos to start his little completionist mission, he kind of needs those.
I mean, he kind of does.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what they all are at this point. The Soul Stone's obviously on Vormir. The Mind Stone is in Loki's scepter on Asgard. No, Loki's scepter is actually with... No, the Mind Stone's actually with Thanos currently. I think. The Reality Stone is floating around in space, just gooping around. The Time Stone is the Eye of Agamotto. The Tesseract is under the ice with Captain America. Wait. Yeah. Yes, they're all spread around the galaxy fairly thinly, but if he can grab 2 at once, he will probably want to do that.
Yeah.
Because having something... Because Thor might somehow accidentally get access to a stone. So, that might... And with Thor's absolute cosmic levels of power, he might end up accidentally attracting the attention of Thanos, which could be quite bad.
Just a bit.
Or something far, far worse could happen, as that little synopsis said, he's going to have to try to save his entire universe from being wiped out. See the Doctor Strange episode for an example of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not sure where this one could go. sadly, the cast list isn't up for this episode yet. So I can't, check that, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, no sign of a cast list just yet. But, Oh, and I just realised something. This episode is going to be coming out on the 1-year anniversary of new channel Who Dis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 22nd of September, which is in 3 days' time currently. Oof.
Wow.
I know, it's, again, as I said a few weeks ago when I did my first year of the channel video, it seems like it's been a long time, but it just doesn't seem like a year just yet.
Doesn't.
No, it doesn't seem like that long ago. So yeah, unfortunately my predictions for What If episode 7 aren't very big because there isn't much information to go on as of now. However, I'll be sure to keep an eye out for anything. And then, of course, I'll be coming back next Sunday to do an overview of this episode when it comes out. But, yeah, this is the final few episodes before Star Wars Visions start, which I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait. And I've looked at the episode count for Visions, and it does look like it is taking us through to the start of Hawkeye at the end of November. It'll be 9 episodes long, which would just about line up. And the dates would just about line up. There might be like a day's difference, but well, actually it won't be. But yeah, it looks as if it's going to lead us straight into Hawkeye, which is insane.
Yeah.
And much like What If, these episodes of Star Wars Visions are going to be their own separate stories. In fact, I'm just going to do a quick episode title check, because I do have the Instagram post saved that had, all the titles on. So, 1 second. It is here somewhere. Did I not save it?
Apparently no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, wait, there it is. Haha. Okay. And they're all being made by separate anime studios.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, episode 1 being produced by Kamikaze Doga Studios is presenting The Duel. That studio ring a bell?
Nope.
Okay.
Afraid not.
The next episode is going to be done by Geno Studio, and that is Lop and Ocho. Okay. Studio Colorido is going to be doing Tatooine Rhapsody. If there isn't any Queen in that, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Trigger Studio presents The Twins. Okay. Trigger, again, is presenting The Elder, which seems interesting. Kinema Citrus is presenting The Village Bride. Science Saru is presenting Akakiri. Science Saru, again, is doing COB1. Okay. And Production IG is doing The Ninth Jedi. And sadly, I don't have plot synopsis for any of those episodes. Which is really sad, although it was really far away, so I'm not entirely surprised. Just going to check if there was a release date. Yes. September the 20th. Wait. Oh my god.
What?
It's next week. Oh god, they're going to be overlapping.
Yep, they're going to be overlapping.
Oh boy. So the first episode is dropping this Wednesday. I did not see that coming.
Oddly, that's when I leave for uni.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it looks as if next week's podcast is going to be a bit more full. I'm going to have to be overviewing 2 shows. And we all know how much I enjoyed doing that before. Wow.
It's going to be a busy one next week.
Yeah, and I'm just going to quickly verify that what I said a few months ago was indeed correct, and this is going to feed straight into Hawkeye. So we got episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. Yep, it's going to feed straight into Hawkeye. Which is mental. So it looks as if Star Wars Visions is coming out this week. I can't wait. I'm sorry, but between the Bad Batch and now, it's been too long. I know it's only been about a month, but it feels like it's been ages. Like, the gap between the end of the Bad Batch and now, it just seems like it's been longer than what it's been. So anyway, that concludes the fairly long Disney Plus section of this little podcast. And now, on to the hardest part of this podcast, most likely. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Okie dokie. I have nothing.
Funny you should say that. Neither do I.
Well, recently Deltarune Chapter 2's ended up coming out for Steam and PC. And Twitch, I mean.
Yeah, wasn't that last night?
It was the night. It was last night, like night before.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And funnily enough, they just ended up playing through them again and playing the new one as well.
Like, I'll be honest. I've never played Deltarune, and I didn't know this Chapter 2 was happening until like a couple of hours before it released. So the whole release of it took me by a bit of surprise.
Yeah, we knew it was in development, just didn't know when it was coming out. And I did remember that Chapter 2 was announced.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember it was like this week it was coming out.
Oh. So did you say you've actually played Chapter 2?
Yeah.
How was it?
Honestly, from how it developed from Chapter 1, I'm very happy with it. Very surprised.
Good. Like, that's the one thing I wanted to hear. Like, I might play it someday. I'm not sure. I'll be honest, I've never actually played Undertale. Which I know is an absolute travesty. Like, I do definitely intend to try Undertale at some point. No idea when, but I certainly intend to.
There's plenty of places you can play it now anyway, I think, so...
Yeah. I will try it at some point in the future. Also, going off something I mentioned last weekend, I'm pretty sure it's either close or it's out. Oh, I'm pretty sure... Give me... Very unprepared, this stream, guys. Very unprepared. Ooh. FIFA 22 is coming out in 6 days.
Wow.
Yep. So in 6 days' time, people will be able to play as Wrexham FC, which I still can't quite believe is actually happening.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, like even a week and a half after I found out, it still does not seem right.
Yeah.
Like, Wrexham is like the last team you'd expect to see in this game.
Reminds me, I did end up going to town yesterday, and because there was football on, we saw a lot of people go through like town. Somebody was wearing a Deadpool costume.
Yes.
You just have these people in suits, you have these people in football gear, and then just this one guy in a Deadpool costume walking to the stage, walking to the stage.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. God,
it was beautiful.
Imagine if that was actually Ryan Reynolds.
It wasn't. You could hear the accent do it. It wasn't Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
You could barely fit the costume, to be fair. It's too small on it. No, it's too big on him, even.
Well, maybe one day he might show up in his Deadpool costume. Like, that would confuse people. Like, people would just be thinking, oh, it's just another Deadpool cosplayer. Oh, my God.
Just have a Deadpool con in Wrexham and just have Comic-Con, but nothing but Deadpool.
Hey, this might bring Comic-Con back.
We'll see, let's hope.
I hope so, because I miss it so much. Honestly, Comic-Con was like nothing I'd ever been to.
I miss the Comic-Cons around here anyway, because they ended up moving to Salford and I'm being able to go.
Yeah, and it's still called Wales Comic-Con, even though it isn't in Wales anymore.
True.
In fact, even John Ross Bowie, who played Kripke in The Big Bang Theory, who's been a guest a couple of times, even pointed out, like, okay, so this is called Wales Comic-Con that isn't actually in Wales. Huh.
Yes.
I'll get back to a cheerier part of this topic in a moment, but I do have some sad news because I've just remembered someone who used to go to Comic-Con. John Chalice. He is most famous for playing Boise in Only Fools and Horses, and it was reported today that he has tragically passed away after a battle with cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, quite sad about that, to be honest. Because, well, not exactly proud to tell the story, but what the hell. At one Comic-Con he was attending, well, he wasn't looking where he was going, in my defense, and he nearly tripped over my wheelchair.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like the only memory I have of him.
A fun memory, at least.
Oh yeah, it was funny. We both laughed our heads off.
Well, as long as you both at least didn't rip it, that's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, Comic-Con. How many times did you end up going?
I went at least like 2-3 times.
Okay. Who was your favorite person that you met?
I think one of my favorites would have been some of the cast from Red Dwarf, definitely.
Oh, fair. And I've got a few favorites because I think I went. Well, I started going in 2015. At that point, they were only doing singles, so it was only one per year. And then I think it was 2017. They changed it to doubles, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I think all in all, I went 6 times or so.
Yeah.
I think. All I've got to do is just trace it back to when they changed it to 2, and then when it left Wrexham.
Yeah.
But over my time, I met a lot of cool people. I met 3 Power Rangers, all red, might I add. 3 of the Doctor Who's, 3 Gotham cast members and a couple of Buffy cast members. And I was trying to remember, and I was trying to think who was actually my favorite one to meet. Because, like, actually, I'm just going to list them all off. Because I do remember who I met. Firstly, my first ever Comic-Con I went to, I met a man named Steve Cardenas, who was the second Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger in the first Power Ranger series, and I freaked out. Because I also got a photo op with him in his Red Ranger suit, so that was just...
Nice.
Then the same day, I met Anthony Head, who is Giles in Buffy, and King Uther in Merlin. Love that show. We'll never get tired of it. And then next Comic-Con, I met Nicholas Brendon, who was Xander in Buffy. And then flashing forward to the next one, I met James Masters, who was an absolute angel of a man, might I add. Honestly, amazing person.
Sounds like it.
And this is the point where who I've met kind of gets jumbled up because I've kind of lost track. I met Peter Davison, the 5th Doctor, and Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor, who were both also amazing. Then I met... Who's next? Yes. And then the Gotham trio started. I started off by meeting Sean Pertwee, who, fun fact, is the son of the 3rd Doctor, John Pertwee, who played Alfred in Gotham. He was really cool to see. Robin Lord Taylor, who played Penguin in Gotham, who was also just awesome. And then the last Gotham cast member I met was David Mazouz, who played Bruce Wayne. And I will say, out of all of them, he was the easiest to talk to because he's literally about 9 months older than me. He was born in February 2001, so like he was probably the easiest to talk to because he was so young and like pretty much the same age as me. So I'd definitely say he was the easiest to talk to. I also ended up meeting Brandon J. McLaren, who played another of the Red Rangers, Austin St. John, who played the original Red Ranger, which was an absolute childhood dream for me. And then, lastly, I ended on a high, because I remember this was the last Comic-Con I went to, and I ended on a massive high. I met David Tennant.
Nice.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, I'm not sure who was my favourite.
To be fair, just being able to meet them is just like a weird...
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Like, they were all absolutely amazing people. Like, none of them were standoffish at all. And it was just really cool, because, and as we know, it was huge.
Yeah.
Like, it took over the entire university.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, but I'll be honest, I do miss it.
Yeah.
Part of me does want to go to Telford one day to do it, but...
If you're doing that, you also have to vlog it.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, like I do want to do it again, but not just yet for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because they have tried to do some throughout COVID, but of course, just as they've started to get ready for it, the situation's gotten worse again, and they've had to scrap it.
Yeah.
They have done some virtual panels actually across COVID with some actors. Like, I think they've done a fair few Buffy panels, as the Buffy cast is definitely a cast they can rely on to be there, as well as Red Dwarf. Like, I'm pretty sure they went to every single one, and probably still are. Like, I remember, like, my auntie went to the first one, and I think they were there literally every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I'll admit, that is one of the big things I do miss. Like, being nerdy, while it is a lot cooler and is a lot more popular now, still isn't, like, big.
Yeah. No, I see
However,
that.
going to Comic-Con, like, yeah. But going to Comic-Con, completely different story, isn't it?
Usually, yeah. Because you're
Yeah,
able to see a little more mainstream in a sense.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like, the niches.
Yeah. And you're able to nerd out, and you're able to meet people who nerd out about the same stuff as you do, and you also end up meeting the people who you're nerding out over.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if you ever get the chance to go to a Comic-Con, doesn't matter where it is, I would seriously suggest going, because it is genuinely amazing experience.
Or if you go to, like, any convention.
Yeah,
because
any
I've
convention will do.
Been to a couple of anime and Japanese conventions,
Yeah,
and
of course.
honestly, the crowd there are a lot of fun to be with because you can dress up as you want, you can do what you like, because you know that there's going to be people with similar or the same interest as you there. So you don't have to feel like you're nerding out too much if you're seeing something.
Yeah. And if you are nerding out, you are very likely to not be the only one.
Yeah, no. Again, when I've gone to like certain conventions, I definitely like Hyper Japan. When I've seen artwork by different artists and seen the cosplays and stuff, I'm able to just be really happy to recognize stuff, whether they've been they were like mainstream like Attack on Titan or niche stuff. Like I saw one from one of my favorite more niche animes, mangas.
Okay.
I thought that was really cool because I didn't think anybody would dress up like that.
Yeah. Oh, artists. I've just remembered one who used to go to Comic-Con, and at one point we were on first name terms because I went to him so often to get artwork from him. He did artwork on the Transformers comics. Doesn't surprise you that I went to him so often, probably.
Probably not.
And I've got like 5 or 6 pieces of artwork from him. Like, for example, he once made a recreation, made his own version of a poster for the 1986 Transformers movie. Oh, wow. And then he also did one of, frankly, my favorite artwork he did. Optimus Prime standing on a pile of Decepticons holding a flagpole with the Welsh flag on it.
Wow.
Yes. Like, Optimus Prime holding a flag with a dragon on it is probably the coolest thing I have ever seen.
I mean, it's something that you wouldn't usually see.
No. But, yeah. I think, his name was John Paul Bove. You probably saw him going through the artist section of Comic-Con.
Yeah, I do recognize that.
Yeah, like, he was there every time, and he knew exactly who I was every time. I said, "Oh, hello again." even though it was like a year to 6 months apart, he always recognized me.
You just have to. You just enjoy that though, because you're able to see the attention.
Yeah, and there was a few times when he had a bunch of artwork out. I was very spoiled for choice. Because he genuinely, I could see why he was an actual artist for the Transformers comics. He was honestly amazing.
It's just nice to see that, really.
Yeah, I think what I noticed about him was definitely his speciality was recreating the G1 designs. Like, honestly, there were some designs where I thought, this has to be the original from the cartoon. No, it was him.
Wow.
And yeah. Yeah, I just want to go to a Comic-Con again because I'm pretty sure he's still going to them.
Again, makes sense, because that'd be...
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to check, but yeah, I do want to go to one again. Oh, good heavens, have you seen the time?
Oh, damn.
Wow, that was fast. Would you care to wrap up this stream?
You want me to do it?
I mean, up to you. Would you like to do it for a change? It's up to you.
I mean, sure, okay.
Okay.
Like, as always, everybody, don't forget to like this video when it comes up on YouTube. Subscribe to Cameron's and mine and Frost's channel. All of our links will be in the description below, and that button should be red if you haven't subscribed, and grey if it is. Follow us on social medias. Cameron should have them all either in the link tree or the description again, because he's good like that. Feel free to comment, because why not? We always read them, and we'd love to interact. And don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can join the infinite loop of liking, subscribing, commenting, following, and sharing, and around and around and around that loop. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow with another video, unless you have something to say, Cameron.
Your fact for the week is I was not prepared for this. Your fact for the week is if every person on the Earth jumped at the same time, it would do absolutely nothing to the Earth's rotation. Thank you, resource.
That is good to know.
And with that little fact, I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.